or visit britishseniors.co.uk.
I love crowds, if you can believe it. But wherever I go, they always ask, where's Wally?
Yeah.
Never who's Wally. Sometimes it takes someone who really knows you to make you feel seen.
Gifts that say I get you, Etsy has it.
This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7. And you're watching NDTV 24/7.
Afghan Taliban's acting minister for refugees, Khalil Rahman Haqqani, has been killed in a blast in the country's capital, Kabul. His nephew, Anas Haqqani, has confirmed. Now, Khalil Haqqani became a minister in the Taliban's interim government after foreign forces withdrew from Afghanistan in 2021. He was a senior leader of the Haqqani network, a terrorist faction blamed for major attacks during the 20-year war. Mohammed al-Bashir has been appointed Prime Minister of Syria's new transitional government on Tuesday. He has said it is time for people to quote-unquote enjoy stability and calm after the overthrow of President Bashar al-Assad. The former head of the rebel administration in northwest has been tasked with governing until March 2025 by the Islamist militant group Hayat Tahrir al-Sham and its allies. Bashir also chaired a meeting in Damascus on Tuesday. It was attended by members of his new government and those of Assad's former cabinet to discuss transfer of portfolios and institutions. Insurgents who overthrew the Syrian government now say they have wrestled control of the eastern city of Deir ez-Zor after intense battles with a Kurdish-led US-backed force. Syria's rebel military command announced on Tuesday evening that they had completely captured the city of Deir ez-Zor. The Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces had only held the city for a few days. Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has said the recent events in Syria, including the fall of its government, are part of a joint plan by the United States and Israel. The Supreme Leader, without naming a country, added, a neighboring state of Syria has played a clear role in this matter and it continues to do so. Everyone can see this. Listen in.
نباید تردید کرد که اونچه در سوریه اتفاق افتاد محصول یک نقشه مشترک آمریکایی و صهیونیستی است.
Amid the power vacuum in Syria, India has evacuated 75 of its nationals from the conflict-torn country on Tuesday. The evacuation was conducted 2 days after the rebel forces ousted President Bashar Assad's authoritarian government. Displaced Palestinians in the Gaza Strip are hounded with a serious shortage of bread, one of the main food sources for people in the besieged enclave, as flour supply is halted. The Israeli army has blocked flour from entering the Gaza Strip, and international organizations have stopped distributing it, leading to a massive panic buy with skyrocketing prices. Taiwan military jets were seen landing at the Hsinchu Air Base on Wednesday. This comes as Taiwan demanded that China end its ongoing military activity in nearby waters. The island nations claim Beijing is unilaterally undermining peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait and disrupting international shipping and trade. Its defense officials say they have detected Chinese ships since Monday, both off Taiwan and farther out along its first island chain. 6 people have been killed and 22 more injured in an attack on a private clinic in Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia, the region's head Ivan Fedorov said on Wednesday morning. The search and rescue operations continue following the strike on Tuesday, and 4 more people have been feared trapped under rebel, Fedorov said. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky, meanwhile, commented on the strike on Zaporizhzhia in his evening address on Tuesday, calling for more air defense systems from the West. South Korean police have raided the office of President Yoon Suk-yeol over his role in declaring martial law last week. Now, the move has plunged Asia's fourth biggest economy into crisis and caused alarm among its allies. Local news agencies are now reporting that the search is part of an attempt by law enforcement agencies to establish where Yoon's actions, supported by other senior figures in his administration, indeed amount to insurrection. The crime that does not carry presidential immunity and could very well even result in a death penalty. According to South Korea's prison authorities, former Defense Minister Kim Yong-hyun has attempted to end his own life while in custody. This as a political crisis from the president's brief declaration of martial law continues to spiral the nation out of control. Kim was detained in capital Seoul on Sunday, days after President Yeol's stunning but short-lived declaration of martial law sparked widespread public anger across the country. Kim allegedly recommended the imposition of martial law and was the first figure detained over the case. He resigned as defense minister on Thursday. China's government has said that it takes necessary measures to defend the country's sovereignty and will not tolerate separatist activities. Taiwan has reported another rise in Chinese warplanes near the island. Beijing's military has yet to comment on the military activity and has not confirmed it is carrying out any exercises in the region. French President Emmanuel Macron aims to name a new prime minister for France within quote-unquote 48 hours. This as he seeks to end a political deadlock following the ouster of Michel Barnier. According to reports, centre-left parties seem willing to work together, but it's unclear whether the new government will eventually lean centre-left or centre-right. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has met Vladimir Putin in Moscow. This to enhance India-Russia defence ties, urging faster S-400 deliveries and increased military collaboration. Now, both leaders have expressed that the partnership between the countries holds immense potential and combined efforts will pave the way for remarkable outcomes. Rajnath Singh also conveyed to Putin that India has always stood by its Russian friend and will continue to do so in the future. According to his doctors, Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva is in a quote-unquote stable condition after undergoing emergency surgery for an intracranial hemorrhage. 79-year-old Lula was rushed overnight to a hospital in Sao Paulo on Tuesday. This after he experienced headaches that the president's medical team found were related to a fall he suffered back in October 2023. The 26-year-old accused of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson is being held without bail in Pennsylvania as he fights extradition to New York, where the murder took place. U.S. Marine veteran Daniel Penny, who put an agitated rider in a chokehold in a New York subway, has spoken publicly for the first time since being acquitted in the man's death. A Manhattan jury has cleared Daniel Penny of criminal negligent homicide in Jordan Neely's 2023 death. A more serious manslaughter charge has also been dismissed last week because the jury was deadlocked on that count. The case amplified many American fault lines, among them race, politics, crime, urban life, mental illness, and even homelessness.
He was just threatening to kill people. He was threatening to go to jail forever, go to jail for the rest of his life. And now where I'm on the ground with him, I'm on my back in a very vulnerable position. If I just would have let go, now he'd turn.
Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has reacted to the anti-Semitic attack that took place in Sydney in the early hours of Wednesday. Albanese has said that he unequivocally condemns these shameful acts that are aimed at the Jewish community. A car was torched and houses were graffitied with anti-Israel slogans in Sydney on Wednesday. It came on the heels of the federal police establishing a task force to investigate increasing incidents of anti-Semitic crime across the land down under.
I unequivocally condemn the shameful acts that are aimed at the Jewish community. We must all continue to stand together against anti-Semitism. One of the things that makes us the greatest nation on earth is that people of every faith and background have the right to feel safe and welcome. We must preserve that and defend it, and my government will.
Argentine President Javier Milei has celebrated his government's achievements on the first anniversary of his presidency on Tuesday. In a speech broadcast nationally, Milei has claimed that the country is out of recession and has finally started to grow. 54-year-old Milei is a libertarian economist. He assumed the Argentine presidency on the 10th of December last year with the promise of addressing the two main concerns of citizens: fixing the country's damaged economy, which has the highest inflation rate in the world, and reducing insecurity. Protesters gathered in Brazil's Rio de Janeiro on Tuesday against amnesty for those who participated in the coup plot against the government of President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva in 2022. Former President Jair Bolsonaro's allies in Congress have been negotiating a bill to pardon individuals who stormed the Brazilian capital and rioted on the 8th of January 2022 in a failed attempt to keep the former president in power. Meanwhile, analysts have speculated that lawmakers want to extend the legislation to cover the former president himself. This year's Nobel Prize winners have spoken at an awards ceremony in Sweden, Stockholm on Tuesday about their hopes and ambitions after winning the coveted awards. A packed banquet hall saw guests listen to this year's winners while dining over a three-course meal. There was a focus on artificial intelligence in two of the acceptance speeches, with Professor Geoffrey Hinton, the Nobel Prize winner for physics this year, telling the audience how AI is already creating problems. Listen in.
In the near future, AI may be used to create terrible new viruses and horrendous lethal weapons that decide by themselves who to kill or maim. All of these short-term risks require urgent and forceful attention from governments and international organizations.
Men dressed like warriors stab the air with spears, reenacting a form of tribal warfare their ancestors practiced centuries past. Others wearing tribal costumes sang and danced, keeping alive customs that have passed through generations. These are some of the scenes greeting visitors to the 10-day Hornbill Festival in Kohima, capital of India's remote Nagaland state that borders Myanmar.
It's an amazing feeling. I always wanted to come to Hornbill Festival, and I got this opportunity on its 25th anniversary. So it can't be more special for me. And I'm just still sinking in this reality that I finally arrived here. I really love the tribal performance.
Xian Bao, Bao Di and Bao Mai, three giant pandas born at a Belgium zoo, have finally embarked on their journey back to China on Tuesday. The development marks an important milestone in the panda conservation program between the two countries. The trio will join the China Conservation and Research Center for the Giant Panda in Sichuan province. There they will participate in conservation and breeding projects. Since they arrived in Belgium in 2014, the parents of the trio, Hai Hao Hao and Jing Hui, have captivated millions of visitors while raising awareness about the protection of the giant pandas. Chinese media have shared footage of a stunning drone and fireworks show called Tears at the Sky Gate. The event took place on December 7th in Luoyang, known as the hometown of fireworks. The show combined traditional fireworks with drone technology highlighting the city's creativity. It was designed by a local fireworks company chairman as a heartfelt tribute to his late mother. A landmark hearing at the International Court of Justice is underway on whether international law applies to nation-states in preventing climate change, and who pays for the damage is continuing in the Netherlands. Now, 99 countries are taking part, with many smaller island nations hoping they can get a ruling against some of the world's largest polluters who they say are trying to avoid or shirk responsibility. The UK's Attorney General Richard Hermer acknowledged the plight of smaller countries and island nations. Here's what he has to say.
Climate change is one of the defining challenges of our time. The science is clear. There is unequivocal evidence that human activity is leading the planet to warm at unprecedented rates. And the impact is equally clear. The profound effects of climate change fall on each and every state. Yet some states feel that impact far more than others. And the cruel irony is it is predominantly those states that are historically the lowest emitters that feel its greatest impact.
The Bolivian Navy has added to its ranks a robot capable of discharging large amounts of water and combating wildfires. An artisanal robot, Erizo, built by the Bolivian Armed Forces, will join its ranks in the fight against wildfires 2 months after fires ravaged at least 10 million hectares in Bolivia. It can be taken right to the heart of the fire and can carry 3.8 tons or almost 4 tons of water to combat these fires. In September and October, Bolivia experienced the largest fires in 10 years, which led President Arce's government to declare a national disaster due to the wildfires. US firefighters are battling a wildfire in California's Malibu that's prompting evacuations. Students sheltering at the library early Tuesday watched as the sky turned deep red. Los Angeles County Fire Department officials are estimating that at least 2.8 square miles has been burned down and structures have been threatened. The evacuation order encompasses about 6,000 people. Pepperdine cancelled examinations and classes for the day, and there was a shelter-in-place order.
Join me and the Style Squad. Shop now exclusively at Freeman's.
Rebecca always had what it takes to run her own business. But without the money she needed to get started, she was struggling to provide for her children. Her family believed in her friends believed in her, and thankfully someone like you believed in her too when they gave Rebecca a small loan through Lend With Care to help her grow her business.
I used to struggle so much, especially like paying my children's school fees. But after the loan, I was able even to buy uniforms, to buy books, and it's now not a struggle.
Lend With Care is a unique way to support people in low-income countries to work themselves out of poverty. You can lend to entrepreneurs all over the world, and when your loan is repaid, you can lend again.
It felt great to be able to support my entrepreneur, Maria, to start her own business. I always believed that she would succeed.
Go to lendwithcare.org and support an amazing entrepreneur today.
Transform hard chairs and surfaces into comfy seats with Soft Sitter from JML, the lightweight gel cushion that helps provide all-day comfort and support wherever you sit. The hexagonal honeycomb construction cushions, distributes and supports your weight, and its breathable design allows air to circulate, helping to keep you cool. Perfect for all types of seats or to use as a kneeling pad. Get the comfort and support you need this Christmas with Soft Sitter. Only $14.99 from Asda, Argos, Food Warehouse, Tesco and JMLdirect.com. JML, your Christmas made easier.
Christmas can be challenging at the best of times.
Okay, Mum.
But for families who have lost or are losing a loved one, it can be overwhelming.
They're here. Oh, honey. Hello. So pleased to see you.
So amid the anger, could you give £23 to fund an hour of care? In between the stress,
It's not too late. No, you're not too late.
could you fund an hour of comfort? And amongst the grief,
You're not alone.
could you fund an hour of joy?
Okay, Mum. You all right?
This isn't the kind of Christmas anyone ever wanted.
But with your help, we can be there to make it the best one possible.
To give £23 for an hour of care, comfort and joy, please call 0800 810 0212, text CARE to 70488 or search Marie Curie Christmas. Thank you.
According to a Bloomberg report, US President Joe Biden is reportedly planning to formally block the $14.1 billion sale of United States Steel Corporation to Nippon Steel Corporation on national security grounds. This once the deal is referred back to him later this month. The Committee on Foreign Investments, meanwhile, in the United States panel has been reviewing the proposed takeover for much of this year. US President-elect Donald Trump has promised to fast-track environmental approvals and other permits for any company making an investment of $1 billion or more in the US. However, how he exactly plans to help businesses skip traditional regulatory processes remains unclear. German authorities have raided Adidas AG headquarters in Herzogenaurach as part of a years-long tax investigation. Adidas has said in a statement that it has been in contact with customs authorities for several years about the matter and is providing them with documents and information. Nissan Motors has reportedly decided to reassign Chief Financial Officer Stephen Ma to head its China business. It comes as a high-profile shakeup for the crisis-hit Japanese automaker as it cuts thousands of jobs. The replacement of Ma, who will be succeeded by Nissan America's chairperson Jérôme Papin, is another blow to President CEO Makoto Ushida. This as he faces mounting pressure to rebuild Nissan after sales slumps in its key China and US markets. FIFA is set to confirm the hosts of the 2030 and 34 World Cups on Wednesday with a joint bid led by Morocco, Spain and Portugal, set to be awarded the former and the latter being handed to Saudi Arabia. The awarding of hosting rights for both tournaments will go to a vote during the FIFA Congress to be held virtually. However, there is no doubt about the outcomes with neither bid having a rival. The 2030 tournament will mark a century since the first World Cup was held in Uruguay. The bid will also see the South American nation handed a game along with Argentina and Paraguay. The Saudi Women's Premier League is flourishing with top-class players from around the world drawn to the league, which is in its third season currently. In the middle of season, double defending champions Al Nassr are tied at the top with Al Ahly. Each of the 10 teams is allowed 6 foreign players with 5 allowed on the field at any one time. EPL giants Arsenal are preparing for a crucial match against Monaco in the Champions League phase. The Gunners need to secure a spot in the last 16 of the tournament. Mikel Arteta's team will be playing at the Emirates Stadium on Wednesday night. Arsenal recently crushed Sporting Lisboa 5-1 in their previous Champions League match. The victory has strengthened their position in the top 8 of the 36-team competition. Ferrari will supply engines and gearboxes to a new Cadillac Formula One team in a multi-year agreement from 2026, subject to final approval of the entry. A supply will become available due to Sauber becoming the Audi factory team in what will be the start of a new engine era for the sport. Ferrari has said the agreement with Andretti Formula Racing LLC is subject to written confirmation from the governing FIA and Formula One that the entry for 2026 has been accepted and approved. For the first time ever, Canadian music legend Bryan Adams performed in Shillong's Polo Ground. For years, Adams' timeless tunes have been a major part of Shillong's music scene. So for long-time fans, this concert represents the culmination of decades of admiration. The summer of '69 famed singer is performing in a series of concerts across India. After Shillong, Adams will perform at Gurugram, Mumbai, Bengaluru and Hyderabad. As Indians, we take immense pride in Chef Vikas Khanna's remarkable representation of our culinary heritage around the world. Known for his relentless dedication, Chef Khanna has played a pivotal role in showcasing India's fine dining in some of the most iconic cities across the globe. Now, adding another feather to his cap, Chef Khanna's New York-based restaurant, Bungalow, has been awarded the prestigious Michelin 2024 BIB Award. This recognition the chef shares feels incredibly personal as he continues to elevate Indian cuisine on the global stage. The Blue Hedgehog is back in the latest chapter of the Sonic series. Sonic and Tails ally with Dr. Robotnik to take on a new foe, Shadow, in Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Keanu Reeves and Kristen Ritter are joining the star-studded cast with Jim Carrey, Ben Schwartz, Idris Elba and James Marsden reprising their roles. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 will be in US theaters on the 20th of December. Allu Arjun and Rashmika Mandanna's film Pushpa 2, The Rule Pushpa 2, has set the box office on fire. The film has become a true box office juggernaut. The gangster drama has become the fastest Indian movie to enter the 1,000 crore club. It has accomplished this feat in just 6 days.
Dreams come true, come to the other side. I can feel energy. I believe in healing me. All I need is sweet release in the freedom of the night. Freedom of the night.
Join me and the Style Squad. Shop now exclusively at Freeman's.
Unleash the power of hands-free lighting with NeckBright from JML. The powerful and versatile wearable neck light. Easily adjust the direction or how bright you need the light. The lights are also detachable and the magnetic base lets you attach it to any metal surface, giving you the right light when and where you need it. Discover the ultimate hands-free lighting solution this Christmas with NeckBright. Only $19.99 from Asda, Argos, Homebase, Tesco and JMLdirect.com. JML, your Christmas made easier.
Hello?
Hello? I need help.
Hello? I desperately need a place to stay.
Every 10 minutes, we get a call like this from another homeless young person. This Christmas, we're expecting more frightened young people to call the Centrepoint helpline than ever before. We must answer their calls. Please, text SAFE to 70755 or search Centrepoint 5 online to start your gift of just £5 a month. In the months ahead, you'll know your gift is helping more homeless young people get the safety and support they urgently need. Thank you.
This could be a good night. They don't need to think twice. I will find a new life. I'll be honest.
IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
I now request the Honourable Prime Minister to launch NDTV World and address the summit.
It was the grand launch of NDTV World by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. as he laid out his vision for the India century at the NDTV World Summit.
कैसी सदी जिसमें भारत के प्रयासों से दुनिया में स्थिरता आए.
In the presence of those who are shaping our future.
मेरी तरफ से आपको ढेर सारी शुभकामनाएं हैं.
NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
The last 48 hours, there have been unprecedented developments in Syria, something that's said to impact the entire region, Middle East, and of course the world at large as well. To understand the dynamics, how it could reshape some of the global world order, and how it could reshape political developments around the world, I have with me the ambassador of Israel to India, Mr. Reuven Azar, speaking on what could be the next steps for the region, for Israel, and how significant it could be to reshape that entire area. Thank you so much, Excellency, for taking out the time speaking to NDTV.
For the interview.
My first question to you, as we talk about the unprecedented developments in Syria, is that, of course, Israel is not a stakeholder in what all happened, but it gets impacted because it's an important development that has taken place. Talk to us about how Israel is seeing how these changes have taken place in Syria and how they're set to reshape that entire region.
Well, Israel is no doubt in a situation of alert. We are following very closely the events in Syria. The Israel Defense Forces have taken defensive positions in the buffer zone, in the border between Israel and Syria. As you probably know, there is a disengagement zone that was created in 1974 following the Yom Kippur War. That zone is a buffer zone of several hundred meters to a few kilometers in the north. In the past, that area was attacked by different groups. It has been attacked now too. The UN forces there, the observers that belong to an organization called UNDOF, have been attacked. Israel has come to their rescue. So we are taking this temporary defensive positions in the buffer zone and following very closely what's going on the other side, preparing to defend ourselves against any possible